Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to TTVNews with some last events in our province, and I will come into details. On November the 29th of 2019, nearly 200 foreign businesses and investors in the Tây Ninh province participated in a conference of dialogue with the leaders of the Tây Ninh People's Committee. Mr. Phạm Viết Thành, member of the Party Central Committee, Secretary of Tây Ninh Provincial Party Committee, Mr. Phạm Văn Tân, Deputy Secretary of Provincial Party Committee and Chairman of Provincial People's Committee, Mr. Nguyễn Thanh Ngọc, Permanent Vice Chairman of Provincial People's Committee, co-chaired the conference. At the conference, the Provincial People's Committee will announce the socio-economic situation, the foreign investment attraction situation in the Tây Ninh province, information on mechanisms and incentive policies for foreign businesses and investors, creating favorable environment for foreign businesses and investors operating in the area. At the same time, leaders of the Tây Ninh province listened to 14 opinions and proposals of business representative leaders, trade associations to remove difficulties as well as obstacles in the production process of businesses, how businesses operate smoothly and effectively in the Tây Ninh province. At the dialogue, leaders of the provincial departments of agriculture and rural development, departments of construction and state bank of the Tây Ninh province directly explained to the concern of foreign businesses and investors some of the related contents. At the same time, summarized and proposed to related agencies to consider results and respond in writing after this conference. Mr. Phạm Viết Thành, Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee, informed that the Province Committee, People's Council and the People's Committee of the Province had got a resolution determining that from 2020 to continue to conduct industrialization and modernization along the direction of prioritizing industrialization, modernize agriculture and rural areas. Continuing to improve the investment environment, strongly mobilizing resources for development investment. At the same time, he also directed functional departments in the province to enhance dialogues with investors, promptly remove difficulties and congestion of businesses, especially procedures for issuing investment policies and granting a certificate of posting, investment signing, site clearance, and land lease. Continue to implement well the one-door mechanism on investment and the one-stop shop mechanism in business registration in the coming time. And in the afternoon of November the 28th, the People's Committee of the Tây Ninh City announced the planning process of subdivision number 3 of typical cultural residential area of the Tây Ninh City at the rate of 1 per 2,000. Mr. Phạm Trung Chánh, Chairman of the Tây Ninh City People's Committee, chaired the conference. The planning process of subdivision number 3 of typical cultural residential area of the Tây Ninh City with the area of 626 hectares, including ward number 4, part of Hiệp Ninh and Ninh Thành wards with the boundaries of north bordering with Vườn Điều stream in Ninh Thành ward, and the south of Cách Mạng Tháng 8 Street and Lạc Long Quân Street is located of Bao Nang Commune, Dư Minh Châu District, and the west of Nguyễn Trãi Street and April the 30th Street. The zoning plan of zone number 3 is the current central area of the Tây Ninh City, approved to reorganize space, architecture, urban landscape, and system of technical infrastructure works, social infrastructure works, and housing suitable for socio-economic development, ensuring national defense and security, sustainable economic development, building Tây Ninh City to become a second-class city with the Eco-2 city model of ecology and sustainable economy, in accordance with adjustment plan of the general construction of the Ninh town until 2020 and vision to 2050. Planning scheme is also a legal basis to carry out construction investment and management according to planning, creating conditions for synchronous matching and social technical infrastructure systems, contributing to creating a common image for the whole city, as well as creating an attractive and stable investment environment. Mr. Phạm Trung Chánh, Chairman of the Tây Ninh City People's Committee, asked the specialized agency to publish and publicize approved zoning number 3 scheme on mass media and via social networks. At the same time, he suggests wards and communes to intensify propaganda so that the people can grasp the information of the planning scheme. And in 2019, Bến Cầu district achieved about 15 over 18 targets. The whole district reached about 133 over 152 criteria for building new style rural area, accounting for more than 87%. The district has also maintained the 4 new rural communes of Long Khánh, Long Phước, Long Thuận, and Long Chữ communes. Particularly, Lệ Thuận commune basically reached about 19 criteria in preparing a document to submit to provincial departments and agencies to appraise and recognize a new rural standards in 2019. The district also built and repaired about 14 residential houses for policy families, about 70 solidarity houses for the poor. The district also achieved about 100% of the plan to call citizens into the army at both levels. The security order situation, the security and social order is maintained stably. Mr. Vương Quốc Thới, Secretary of Bến Cầu District Party Committee, requests to strengthen the inspection of budgets expenditures in the district, grassroots party organization, to organize the elaboration of documents and personnel to prepare for party congresses at all levels in the district. Meanwhile, in 2019, the production value of economic sectors of Thành district increased over the same period, in which the production value of agriculture, forestry and fishery is estimated at about 4,290 billion Vietnam dong, up to 0.94%. The industrial and construction production value was estimated at about 4,750 billion Vietnam dong and up to 12.7%. Value of commerce, services and accommodation was estimated at about 1,500 billion Vietnam dong and up to 10%. Estimated total state budget revenue in the district is over 158 billion Vietnam dong, reaching about 140%. The work of building and regulating the party continued to be strengthened, building a clean and strong political system, improving the operational efficiencies of various fronts at all levels and the social political organizations. Ms. Nguyễn Thị Thu Hiền, Secretary of Thành District Party Committee, asked the communes and towns to pay attention to development of party members, prepare for the grassroots party congress at all levels, focus on reviewing the targets to complete the task in 2019. And ladies and gentlemen, the General Statistics Office on the 29th of November announced that the export turnover of processed industrial products in the Ninh province in October of 2019 reached about $303 million, up to 3.7% from the same period last year, and accounted for a proportion up to more than 93% of the total export turnover. Accumulating in the first 10 months of this year, the export turnover of this commodity group reached about $2,826 million, an increase of 0.9% over the same period. Meanwhile, Vietnam posted total export revenues of about $241.4 billion and a total import revenues of about $232.3 billion in the first 11 months of this year. A total import revenues of $232.3 billion in the first 11 months of this year, resulting in a trade surplus of about $9.1 billion. The export revenue in 11 months increased by 7.8% year-on-year, while the import revenues went up by 7.4% year-on-year. In the January-November period, China remained the Vietnam's largest import market, with the import revenues of about $68.7 billion, up to 15.2% against the same period last year. It was followed by Republic of Korea, ASEAN, and Japan. And ladies and gentlemen, in the general situation of the slow recovery of the world economy and in the country, besides the price in the markets for agricultural commodities are still facing difficulties, but with the efforts of the whole provincial political system and the consent of the state, particularly the investment projects from the industrial zones, the socio-economic situation of the Tây Ninh province has been positively transformed, reaching a high growth rate. And ladies and gentlemen, the resolution of the 10th Provincial Party Congress of Tây Ninh Province of term of 2015 to 2020 is considered to have a new mindset towards rapid and sustainable development in the coming time. According to the action program for implementation of the resolution, Tây Ninh Province focuses on carrying out 5 groups of solutions to socio-economic development, including infrastructure development breakthroughs, agricultural development breakthroughs, human resources breakthroughs, tourism breakthroughs, and information technology breakthroughs. Carrying out the resolution of the 10th Provincial Party Congress to accelerate rapid and disruptive socio-economic development of the province, the Ninh Provincial Party Committee set up a steering committee responsible for executing groundbreaking solutions, chaired by the Secretary of Provincial Party Committee and assisted by the Deputy Secretary of Provincial Party Committee. In order to realize objectives and tasks of the Standing Committee of Provincial Party Committee, the Provincial People's Committee launched 5 working groups to create breakthroughs in the following areas: infrastructure, particularly transport infrastructure, organic and high-tech agricultural development, human resources, tourism, and IT. Vice Chairperson to the Provincial People's Committee work as a leader of its groups, and key departments and branches leaders are members. During the operation, the steering committee and working groups have worked hard in the highest determination and responsibility and showed their shrewdness, sensitivity, and sharpness in work, advised party committees and authorities to lead, direct, and manage the implementation of political tasks, especially advising and directing some economic development in all fields. As for infrastructure breakthrough, after assessing the current state of infrastructure and local development needs, the working group advised Provincial Party Committee and Provincial People's Committee to draft and promulgate infrastructure development plan, especially creating breakthroughs in transport infrastructure in the period of 2017 to 2020 period. As for infrastructure breakthroughs, after assessing the current state of infrastructure and local development needs, working groups advised Provincial Party Committee and the Provincial People's Committee to draft and promulgate infrastructure development plan, especially creating breakthroughs in transport infrastructure in the 2017 to 2020 period, with a vision to 2025, focusing on key projects. Accordingly, the province proposed central authorities to ask Prime Minister for adding Ho Chi Minh City Mộc Bài Highway and Gò Dầu Samad Highway projects to the government's medium-term investment plan. To make agricultural development breakthroughs, the Provincial People's Committee also promulgated a plan for clean agricultural and high-tech agricultural development in 2017 to 2020 with an eye to 2025, and cooperating with Vietnam Institute of Organic and Agricultural Research and some enterprises to pilot clean agriculture development model. And to have stable output markets for agricultural products, they then called for 2 agricultural processing projects, 30 food company and nutrition company, while issuing a number of agricultural preference policies. With pilot models, agricultural investment projects and preferential policies, then agriculture will grow fast, strongly and stably in the future. The attracting of foreign investors continue to span significant achievements and progress of disbursement of corporate investment faster, contributing significantly to promote industrial development and economic growth. According to the Department of Planning and Investment, in the period of 2015 to 2020, the attracting of foreign investment increased more than 3 times compared with 2010 and 2015. In particular, in recent time, the has attracted a number of projects with large-scale investments. These projects have financial progress very rapidly, contributing to economic development and local society. Tây will strive to fulfill its goal to becoming an industrial province with a period from now to 2020. The province will focus on directing agricultural development towards clean agriculture and organic agriculture and increasing value chain in agricultural production. Along with high-tech agriculture, Tây is concentrating on developing trade, service and tourism commensurate with its potential available advantages and making tourism an important economic sector. Up to now, attracting invested capital is nearly about $6,600 million and nearly 80% of the plan. And according to relevant functional departments, to the end of 2020, the province will have been achieved the 5-year plan targets. And that's all for today's news. Thank you for joining us and see you more next time.